guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. We're in our 12th year homeschooling this year. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my future videos. Today, I'm going to be going through my Q1 action plans for my 2023 goals. So let's get started. Now, if you have not seen my previous videos for my 2023 goal planning, you might want to watch those first. I do have a whole system that I go through in order to create my goals and get to the point where we are today. My last video was sharing my 2023 goals, but today I'm going to share my Q1 action plans with you. Now, because these are Q1 action plans, it's not going to be everything that I do in January. I'm giving myself through the end of March to work on all of these things, and it is possible that as I start out January, some of these things could change, and it really just depends on the amount of time that I have to work on these goals. Time is obviously my most precious resource. You can't get more of it, and in the winter it can be challenging to find the time, especially if kids get sick or if I get sick. So it really will depend on how everybody's feeling, how the start of our second semester homeschooling term goes, all of that kind of stuff. But so what I do is I will go through, I have talked about all of my goals. I've talked about how after I write my goals, I write down why it's important and then what this looks like. And then after I do that, I kind of pick and choose things from my goal ideas list and also my brain dump lists, which are at the beginning of my journal. And I kind of figure out what are the things that I think I can work on in the first quarter. A lot of that has to do with what our schedule looks like, what our calendar looks like, all of that kind of stuff. But so I try to be super realistic about my time. I would love to complete all kinds of things in 3 months. It's not realistic to do that. So what I'm going to do is go through and share my little mini goals and then the action steps that I have associated with those goals, and then the goal that the mini goal goes with. So I guess before I say that, my goals I think that I only have one goal on here that is actually like a time-bound goal, and that is reading the Bible chronologically in 2023. So my goals are more move in this direction, make progress in these areas. So I just need to say that first because my mini goals are more like actual goals and my action steps are more like actual goals. So that's kind of just how my goal planning process works for me. So my first mini goal relates to my create and implement a clear home management system that allows me time to pursue my passions. And my mini goal is to declutter and de-own our home. So I've been talking about decluttering for a really long time. I have not prioritized the time for it. I thought that I would have a lot more time in 2022, at the beginning of 2022, but we were all sick for a long time. So I did not have the time to go through a lot of stuff. So I do want to do that in Q1. And then my action steps associated with this mini goal are first to do a quick walk through the house, with trash bags, just things that I see that we really don't need, broken things, things that are missing pieces, etc., that kind of stuff. The next thing that I want to do is have a discussion with the kids and really talk to them about what they desire to keep and how to maintain that, because we keep a lot of stuff and sometimes they struggle to get rid of things, and so I just want to have a conversation with each of them and really prioritize what is important. Why are they keeping the items that they have? Is there a different way that we can manage this stuff, or come up with some sort of strategy for them to keep some things and let go of some other things, or take pictures of things so that they still have it. So that is another action step that I have. Then I want to work with each kid individually for a day, just to go through all of their stuff in their rooms, and toys, clothes, all of that kind of stuff. I'd like to also go through the costumes and basement toys. We have a couple of armoires that I had planned to get rid of when we moved into this house. They are still here and they have a bunch of junk in them. They're not organized. It's not my stuff that's in them, and I just want them out of the house. I would like to work on my master bedroom closet. It's a disaster. We didn't have any closets when we lived at our old house, so I just don't know how to organize anything. I don't have any like baskets to keep sweaters or anything like that. So yes, I need to work on that. I'd also kind of like to paint it because it's like this tan color, and it doesn't match the rest of the house. Anyways, that might be that's not a Q1 project, but that is something that I have thought about. I'd like to go through the kids' clothes again. That's really a seasonal thing that I have to do regularly because they grow. And I need to replace things, and I need to just work on making sure that they don't have a bunch of stuff that doesn't fit them in the closet, because that's kind of a waste of space. And then also when they have a bunch of stuff that is in the closet that doesn't fit them, but I don't realize that, I don't purchase them new sizes of things that they need, because when I look at their closet, it seems like they have plenty of stuff. So the next thing is going through our memory boxes, which also ties into my legacy goal and our homeschool boxes. And that may take longer than a quarter, because I have a box for every single year of homeschooling, and we're in our 12th year homeschooling this year. So it is a lot of stuff. I keep almost everything that my kids do. We don't do like a ton of worksheets and stuff. So papers that they write, math books, workbooks is probably about the only workbook type thing that we have. All of their art stuff, all of that stuff, it's a lot. I need to go through it. It's something that the kids have wanted to do as well. They want to see all of the memory stuff, and it just needs to be organized, because I just have so many bins in our basement, and I probably don't need to keep all of that stuff. I would like to really pare it down to maybe 1 or 2 bins. Yeah, we'll see. I do like to keep all of their homeschool stuff, because you just never know. We follow all of the Maine state law for homeschooling, but you just never know if something will change and we will need something to show a school district or the state or whatever. So I always err on the side of caution and just keep everything. And it doesn't really bother me because it's all in a bin in the basement, but it is something that I do want to go through. But again, it might take longer than the first quarter, especially if I'm going through and decluttering the house. Yes, another thing that is not on here that I do actually want to also go through are my personal books, my personal library of books. I need to write that down. And this mini goal relates to my create and implement a clear home management system goal, by making it so I'm not having to maintain things that we don't need. You know, all of the stuff that you own in your house, you still have to maintain it, whether that is picking up toys or going through clothes, or, you know, just books, having all of that stuff. It's just one more thing that you have to think about, and the less that you have, the less you have to think about all the stuff. So that is my first Q1 mini goal. My next 2 mini goals are, actually I will say 3 mini goals, are related to my pursue my passions by cleaning up rhythms and routines goal. And the first one is my AM routine. I have a really good AM routine. I get up super early. I don't set an alarm clock. I get up whenever I wake up in the morning, and that works really well for me. However, when I am super busy, which we have been pretty much since August, I tend to waste a lot of that morning time, and my morning time is my most productive time. So I just want to make sure that I am creating a morning rhythm that works for me, that I'm doing all of the things that I need to do in the morning before my kids get up, and not spending too much time just, getting on Instagram or Facebook and the time just floats away. Just get the stuff done that I need to do. So I really need to figure out what I want to accomplish before the kids get up. Things that I have written down are prep for homeschool, morning planning, setting a breakfast time, potentially creating a specific block of time where I'm working, and then once that block is over, stop working, which is hard for me to do, especially when I'm like in and out of my Facebook group in the morning. A lot of times people will have questions, or I will get emails, and I will just spend an enormous amount of time replying and making sure that they have all of the information they need. So maybe better office hours or work hours in the morning would be good. Setting up our table for homeschooling, and then Bible study, because I am doing the Eden to Eternity chronological Bible reading plan, which I will talk about shortly. And so I need to have time to read and reflect on the questions and do the devotion, etc. The next mini goal related to that rhythms and routines goal is my PM routine, which I don't have one. I really don't, because I wake up so early. In the evenings, I am pretty much not productive at all, but it's a time that I want to be able to spend working on maybe some legacy stuff, things like pictures, things like writing to my kids in their journals, doing like a one-line journal, making sure the kitchen is totally cleaned up and closed at 7 o'clock. We don't need to be eating at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, snacking. And so just making sure that everything is cleaned up and closed for the night. And then reading, which I tend to do anyways when I go to bed. When I get in bed, I just read until I fall asleep. So making it a more realistic routine and maybe having some time guidelines would be helpful. That is my next mini goal. And then the third one is my weekly rhythm Sunday planning. I tend to do Sunday planning except when we are busy, and that's when I need to do planning the most. Making sure that I'm writing down all of the things for the week for homeschool. When I still do my planning, but if I don't do it on Sunday and I end up doing it Monday morning, it sets our week back, because it does take me quite a while to get all of the lists written out and make sure that I have all of the supplies that I need. And it's just better if I do that on Sunday afternoon. Now, years ago, it was easier because my kids had youth group every Sunday afternoon, and I would take that time and do my planning, but they don't do that anymore. So when everybody is here, it's a little more challenging for me to sit quietly and do that stuff. So it is something that I need to focus on, and I just need to prioritize. When I do it, it goes really well. When I don't, I get a little more stressed out. So just making sure that I actually do it is the plan. And then also, this also relates to my slow money goal, in that I want to make sure that I'm also doing expense tracking, budget tracking, making sure that I'm checking in regularly with the budget and talking to Matt about it. Because that's just really important. And then just also making sure that he and I are on the same page with what's going on in the week, because sometimes he has stuff going on that I don't know about, or vice versa. And, that can obviously cause problems during the week. So that is my next mini goal. And then my next mini goal is also related to my slow money goal, and that is to create a home projects list for 2023. I need to make sure that I have all of the things down that we need to do in this year. And not all of those things will be for quarter one, obviously. There are a couple of things that we do have coming up in Q1 that I need to make sure that we have the money for, obviously, but I just want to have this home projects list, and then I can go through that home projects list and figure out exactly how much money we need for the particular project, if it's really important, or if it's something that we can put off, or what the reality of those projects actually is. I also want to make sure that I'm setting up my monthly budget. Savings goals, I think that I will do savings goals for the year, for the quarter, and for the month. So that is going to be kind of like a monthly thing that I will revisit. And then also figuring out cash envelopes and a no spend. I really would love to do a no spend 2023. Now, I write this under my home projects list because there are some things that we do have to do. And so things like, I know that there's a car repair that we have to do. I know that Emma has driver's ed coming up this year. I know that we have to do a few things with the garden come the spring, summer. I know that we need a new water heater. Those types of things I can't have as part of a no spend because they are things that we have to do. But so I just want to figure out some rules and exceptions for a no spend, and then figure out if I can implement cash envelopes. It's really hard for me to do like a cash envelope system, especially going to the store and they say, please do not use cash because we don't have enough coins. So anyways, so that is my next mini goal. Then I have for create a home where learning is valued and passions are pursued. My mini goal is our vision boards. I want to, discuss passions with the kids, making a plan for tools needed and resources, monthly check-ins, and implement new daily, weekly homeschool rhythm, which I'm making a bunch of changes to our homeschool rhythm for next semester. I will share that in a future video, but that is something that we always do in January. So there may be more stuff once January is over. This may all be finished in January, or we may finish this in January and just continue working on those rhythms through Q1 and then come up with new mini goals for Q2. My next mini goal is part of my continue to deepen my faith by reading the Bible chronologically in 2023, and that is to start my chronological reading plan. I talked about this in my Bible plans video. I'm not starting in Genesis. I'm not actually starting with the Old Testament to read chronologically. I decided that I wanted to start with the New Testament this year, so I'm going to start in the New Testament, and then, which is actually volume 4, and then I will go back and start in Genesis for the chronological reading plan through the Old Testament. So I'm changing it just a little bit, but that is okay. And then figuring out when I can have deeper study time is going to kind of relate to my Bible goal and kind of relate to rhythms and routines. And just, if I don't have enough time in the morning during my morning routine to have all of this stuff done, I'm going to have to take some time at another point in the day. Maybe it'll be in the evening, maybe it'll be, after lunch. I'm not entirely sure yet, but that is something that I want to explore. And then I also do want to start reading my church history book, Church History in Plain Language, and that will not be a January thing. I would like to start it at some point in Q1. I'm not sure. It might not be until Q2. Then I do have a couple of mini goals for my growing Townsend House community goal, which I'm not going to share with you right now. And then for my create community and support the relationships we have as a family, one of the mini goals is to figure out a good church where my kids are involved in youth group and just really getting back into a church community, which I haven't really been involved in the past couple of years. And that's something that I want to explore. It's hard. We live in a rural area, and so There are a lot of churches around. There aren't as many local churches that have all of the kind of align with our beliefs. And so it's hard to drive a distance to a church and not really be involved in that community because we live far away. So we'll see what happens. And then my last mini goal is relating to my legacy goal, and I want to start going through my pictures daily. And so I think what I'm going to do is I will start with the pictures that are already on my phone that I have not transferred to my computer, and just delete all of the ones that are duplicates or not good pictures. It's hard for me to delete pictures of my kids. It really is. And I I struggle with that. And then I have had periods of time where we've lost huge chunks of pictures. And that really bothers me too. So I'm going to start with my phone and maybe just spend, 10 minutes a day going through pictures and just deleting ones that are either duplicates or not great pictures, and then making a list of pictures that I can print out and then have them printed so that I have them in hand. And then another thing that I'm wanting to do is start taking like a picture each day of the kids, just one picture, one candid picture. I've thought about doing it in the same location, in the same pose, so that I can see the growth over the year, which the kids really like that idea, or just any picture, so that I can have one full year of a picture of the kids every day. I just thought that would be fun. And so another mini goal under my legacy is starting to go through the memory boxes, which I think will be actually a fun project in January. So those are my Q1 action plans. I didn't really talk about how I create the action plans, but it's really just going through and looking at the goals that I have and my vision for 2023 and my word of the year, and thinking about the resources that I have, again, time and money. How much time do I have to spend on these things? Are these goals that all need to be worked on in the first quarter? Are there things that maybe are going to be later in the year, and that's okay? Really focusing on how much time I have in Q1 to concentrate on things and what will help set me up the best as I'm moving through my goals. So my big focus area for quarter one is going to be decluttering my home. Once I feel like my home is decluttered and all of that stuff that has been weighing on me around my home is gone, it will be easier for me to implement new systems and strategies and work on other goals throughout the other 3 quarters of 2023. So that's kind of how I go about making my action plans. I just drill down what are the things that I can actually accomplish in Q1. What does it look like to work on these things and drill down to the small steps? And then once I have those mini goals and action steps, I will sit down and go through and figure out what I'm going to do for January and write out my list in my Erin Condren Life Planner so that I have my my monthly actions, my weekly actions, and my daily habits. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Creating action plans is a very personal process, I feel like. I can definitely give you more tips if you need them, but sharing my own action plans, I hope that you see how I'm taking my larger goal and making it into smaller bite-sized pieces through sharing my action plans with you. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.